Happy Sunday morning. I was reading in the book of Luke in chapter 22 and thinking about the denial of Christ, both by Peter and by Judas. Jesus walked with these men. He had spent the last 3 years with his disciples. They had eaten where he had eaten. They had slept where he had slept. They had walked along the road with him and listened to him and all of his teachings. He healed the sick in front of them. They'd seen the miraculous. They'd grown close. And I got to thinking about my own family and how close we are. And the disciples very much were Jesus's family. They were that close. And to experience the denial from Judas, to experience the denial from Peter must have hurt. As I look at a picture of my family that I put up in the background for you, I'm thinking about the close relationships and how much it can hurt when we do things against one another, even as a family, and the forgiveness that we have to show toward one another for just being human sometimes. And Peter very much was that way. About Judas, Jesus basically said it would have been better had you not been born. And the reason was because Judas didn't repent. He wasn't going to turn back to Christ. He was going to end up dying in his own guilt. But Peter, on the other hand, Peter was going to repent, and Jesus knew that. And in Luke 22, verse 31, it starts out, Simon, Simon, which is the name that Jesus called him as the unstable, impetuous Peter. Satan has asked to have all of you, to sift you like wheat. But I have pleaded in prayer for you, Simon, that your faith should not fail. So when you've repented and turned to me again, strengthen and build up your brothers. And Peter said, Lord, I'm ready to go to prison with you or even die with you. And Jesus said, Peter, let me tell you something. The rooster will not crow tomorrow morning until you have denied me 3 times. Peter didn't even comprehend his own weaknesses, and Jesus didn't baby him. But instead, Jesus offered hope on the other side of the fall. And I think there's something really beautiful about that, because Jesus knows even in our imperfections, if we'll simply take those things to him, run toward him rather than away from him, that he's always ready to restore relationship with us. So as I look at this story and in the Gospels, and I look at Judas and I look at Peter, and I think that's the difference between them, is that Judas didn't know how to come back to Jesus. He didn't do that. He didn't repent. Whereas Peter failed as well, but he knew to come to Jesus. He ran to him with his guilt. He ran to him with his sin, and Jesus restored relationship. I can't even imagine when Peter found out that Jesus had risen from the dead, there must have been such hope inside of him that was just waiting to see Jesus again and hoping for restored relationship. And the moment he saw him, I believe he got out of the boat and swam toward Jesus. He just wanted to get to him. He just wanted to see the look of love in his eyes once again. And Jesus is always waiting to restore relationship with us. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next week.